Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment of any pro wrestling live show on the greatest pro wrestling live show, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Dave Meltzer responds to Bryan from Worcester, who says taste should drive attendance, at least to some degree. Meltzer says, so the best food in the world is McDonald's, correct? And I just quote tweet this and I go, the McDonald's argument is low IQ and actually just proves the opposite point Dave's trying to make. But of course, he's a dumb, senile old man and doesn't understand how to think critically. So I've buried this McDonald's argument time and time again. No one can make this argument to me. I'll destroy it every time. All you have to do is ask yourself a few critical questions. MJ from NJ, do you want to know what those are? All you have to ask yourself is, what is the objective of a television show? What is the objective of a touring live entertainment show? What is the objective of McDonald's? You just ask yourself these questions, right? So a television show wants to get the most ratings and sell the most ad revenue and put on an entertaining show. A traveling live show wants to sell tickets to a traveling live show. AEW is a combination of both those things. What's McDonald's objective? Sell the most cheeseburgers, affordable to the most people, where it tastes good enough, where like it. Everybody likes McDonald's too. That's the funniest thing. Everybody likes McDonald's. I don't think we're even making that comparison. But you just ask yourself, like, the objective, if you're going to tour a live show around the country, the objective to do of that, the objective is to sell tickets. Am I wrong on that, chat? Am I wrong on that, MJ? I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. If you're on TV, your objective is to garner the best ratings so you can sell the biggest ad revenue and the key demo. But they also like overall viewership. Streaming's a thing now. So it really, some of that doesn't even matter. Is outdated way to look at it. So the best food in the world is McDonald's? I mean, maybe. I don't know, right? Taste is subjective, Dave, but is it the best burger chain in the world? Yeah, without a question, it is. Without a question. Because how do we know? Because they sell the most burgers, the most milkshakes. Is it the best milkshake ever? No, it's not. Is AEW giving you the best product ever? No, they're not. Right? But it's just any way you dissect this McDonald's argument or Taylor Swift. And notice none of the sickos say Taylor Swift because Jeff Jarrett's trying to get Taylor Swift into AEW for them. So none of them are going to trash her anymore. They're not going to keep the same energy. But anyways, this whole argument's trite. What's your opinion on this?
Well, I must say I like spending time with people that do some critical thinking. I think you're right. I think that Dave Meltzer has convinced himself of so many falsehoods that he thinks is real that like he just assumes people agree with his logic, not realizing that it's pretty faulty. I think if you're asking what is the best food, it's not McDonald's. What is the most popular food? What is the most consumed food? What is the most universally recognized? You can't go anywhere in the world and not see the Golden Arches.
That's what I'm saying.
I can just say the Golden Arches. You can say I'd like a number 4 to people and they know what it is. And they're not thinking it's Burger King. They're not thinking it's Wendy's. They think it's McDonald's. So, like, if you are talking about, like, the grand scheme of things and McDonald's is not number 1, like, what world do you live in?
It's just not a good argument. And then also, you're comparing pro wrestling to food, bro.
He's done this restaurant thing a few times. I think at one point he did, like, Wagyu beef. At some time he said, like, the best chefs.
Wagyu beef.
Michelin star chefs. Like, here's the problem with Dave, right? He thinks he's creating like smart logic when it is so easily debunked. I had a reply to this, which was simple. Restaurants that don't make money go out of business, period. It's like, Dave, what are we talking about here? We are talking about a business in an industry that, like you said, it's about viewership. It's about selling tickets. It's about generating revenue through merchandise. It's about connecting with the biggest amount of fans and the widest audience possible. And so, like, what are you making restaurant comparisons here for that, like, it takes
and that don't even
anyone can debunk this and debunk it. I mean, it's not even debunking it. It's simply just refuting it and proving that he's making up logic that is not very clever.
I guarantee if you ask Dave, he goes, Burger King's better. I like flame broiled. What can I say? That-
He'd
so
probably name some chain that only exists in like a handful of states, but he would swear by it and then say, if you don't have it, you don't like hamburgers.
So speaking of not liking hamburgers, Dave Meltzer's got a problem with BBL Bayley and her buns. That terrible transition. But San Jose natives Dave and Garrett fantasy book having Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega in the NBA dunk contest instead of Bayley, and wish that AEW had more crossover participation in the event. Dave then mocks WWE for sending Bayley, Independence High School, to play in the game. What high school did Bayley go to? After participating in athletics at Independence High School, she grew up and achieved her ultimate dream, becoming WWE superstar. So now let's hear Dave fantasy mark book. Oh, well, Ospreay and the king of everything, the king of the ruler of my holes, Kenny Omega.
This goes directly to like my question. What is the partnership between Warner Brothers and AEW? Because we were told a lot of things when they signed that deal.
Yeah, bro.
And by the way, like they signed that deal and this money or whatever, like they're not exactly promoting or supporting AEW. So what makes anyone think they give it or even plan to keep it?
Bro, the best part is how Dave, I didn't listen to this, but Meltzer said what breaks it down. So he's going to fantasy mark book Ospreay and Kenny in it, but then mock WWE for putting Bayley in it. But if AEW put like Mariah May in it, he'd love it, right? He'd be like, this is a May brand integration. But the thing is like, so he's not going to keep the same energy, showing his shill bias. Like if this, it's always the funny things to me that really.
But he's not. He's quote unquote not paid by this company.
This is what I mean, dude. And like, it's always the little cute, funny things Dave says and does that really stooges.
Can you
like
play
how
the clip
he's
or
a
no?
shill. Oh, I'm playing it right now. In 1 second. I'm just giving the little preamble. Yeah. But I just think this is adorable, Dave. These are my favorite ones. Yeah, I just can't wait to hear this. But at the same time, just remember, even he wishes there's more brand integration.
Have you heard it?
No, I haven't. He wants Ospreay and Omega in the dunk contest, and he mocks WWE for sending a superstar. Meanwhile, if the shoe was on the other foot, he'd love it. I already know. Here's Dave Meltzer. Let's take a listen.
I'm so glad you didn't hear this.
And people who are from the Bay Area, like Bayley, you think they would support her?
So go with that one as the last match.
They should have had. I wonder if Will Ospreay can dunk a basketball. He's shorter than me, so if he could, that would be amazing. But because they're following, I think there's.
He's shorter than Bryan Alvarez.
He would get D'd up by some rapper and not be able to do. That's the thing.
How tall is Bryan Alvarez? Isn't he like 5'7"?
He's got to be shorter than that. That's his internet height, fool. No,
but he's clowning Will Ospreay. Like he's inadvertently clowning Will Ospreay. Like he's shorter than me.
Who's like 12 times the athlete he is too. It's crazy. These guys, I wonder if Ospreay could get up there and do a flip in the dunk contest. That's literally what they're sitting here thinking.
This is the future of the company, shorter than Bryan Alvarez. Keep going.
I think there's the slam dunk contest.
You want to make the slam dunk contest?
Well, I was going to say, if he could, it would be a fun thing for them to kind of like upcoming, don't miss a grand slam. And then they show Will Ospreay dunking a basketball because the slam dunk contest and Mac McClung and Will Ospreay. I think that would be kind of funny. But
first off, that's terrible. What are you from 1974? Like, what kind of that shit is terrible. And then you have Bryan over. No, what would be funny is like Ospreay can't dunk, and he's like, I can flip in the ring, bruv. And then the basketball player's like, oh, well, I do this, like kind of over the rope dunk or whatever. Hey, you show me how to do that, bruv. That sort of thing, man. You make it like
get him a smaller hoop.
Yeah, the ring post it'd be one of those hoops people have in their driveways, and
it's a lot of dunk contests use 8-foot hoops. Totally normal.
a lot of dunk contests in the streets. Have you ever played NBA Jam? I mean, they use an 8-inch hoop around the. I mean, their hoop's only 6 feet tall. Bryan,
I would actually be really surprised if he could, because he is pretty short for an NBA 10-foot rim.
He's way too short to play in the NBA.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's way too short to play in the NBA.
Look at this serious conversation. He answered him.
Sure.
It's the celebrity game. It's not playing in the NBA.
Playing in the NBA.
They're playing against Bayley and Kevin Hart and random country singers or whatever, random social media influencers no one's heard of. And I don't know who was all in the thing, but like,
I wonder how tall is Omega? 6 foot?
5'11", 5'10".
Say 5'11".
All right, so Phil, when I was listening to this the first time, I was praying he'd say 5'12".
5'12"? Actually, if you use a tape measure.
Who on there?
Now, Omega, when he was young, could jump.
Yeah. I wonder who on their roster.
He could jump. You should see him. He was the god of jumping. Oh.
They wonder who on the roster could do it because there's no one tall on the roster.
This is so cute.
Anyone on their roster have a basketball background? I just wish there was more crossover with that stuff because it's such a
Dave.
Right, let's
I'm
get
sure
to the whole point of this. So the point was there's no crossover. What the
exactly.
And instead we're talking about Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's jumping ability.
I know. Dave's like, I'm sure Shelton Benjamin or Bobby Lashley could play basketball.
Hey, did you say Bobby's working a TNA show?
No.
What's the show? Oh, he's working with TNA people.
Yeah. Like there's a show in Qatar.
Yeah.
So like just big money, and then TNA is like helping them with talent and stuff. But there's other people like Miro and Lashley and other people.
big
I miss
MLR
it.
night.
Yeah.
Could have done some fun
I mean, look,
stuff.
the best WWE could come up with was, woman from Independence High School.
The best they could come up with, or did they ask for her because she's a WWE superstar that little girls look up to, and there's a big initiative of pushing women in basketball in the WNBA right now, and they're looking at who can hoop and who's from the area and who have people had at games before and stuff like that. And you're like, the best WWE could come with. Dave, they're not booking the NBA.
The best they can come up with is Bayley. Like, Bayley is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes, and she's from where Dave is from.
Right.
Dave's from there. Like, you think he'd have some... Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, like, what you're about to say. Like, you think he would understand that, like, Bayley is not nobody.
Absolutely, dude. It's ridiculous. This is such cope. Well, I mean, Ospreay from the UK, where they don't even know what basketball is, bruv. He could be there, but not... Bayley is Bryan. Bayley, she just has a BBL. She went to Independence High. It's like, yeah, so that's why they chose her. What the?
I mean, at least she played.
Well, hey, but better than The Miz, because I think The Miz was in the MLB softball thing, and he actually played pretty well in
Miz
that.
always did well in that. I don't know if Miz has.
He's a good athlete.
I'll pay money.
Better than the Miz, who is a multi-entertainment star since he's like 20 on MTV.
And I'd pay money personally to see Dave or Bryan play basketball at all.
If you watch him on all the MTV challenge stuff, like he was really in the early years of the challenge, he was like the best guy.
The best guy? Wait, though, how could he be the best guy when everybody knows who the best guy is?
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Perfect.
God damn it, man. That is just so absolutely funny. I mean, if Ospreay was the best they could come up with was Bayley. Yeah, if Bayley was an AEW, she'd be a better choice.
So Alvarez really does play the part where he like tries to interject some truth to what Dave is saying.
Nah, but I think it's just he'll dip one toe in the pool, but he won't really dive in. And he doesn't get a pass with me because he still copes and perpetrates and spins others. And I just don't give him a pass. I know a lot of people are like, no, he's he's inheriting the empire. He knows what he's doing. He's just going at Dusty Dave a little bit. But when you question Bryan, he does the same thing. Even if he's wrong, he just won't be like, oh,
Yeah. Have I told you how I think all these guys get paid?
Well, no, go right ahead here.
So
this is all allegedly as well. We don't actually know. I'll play an X-File, man.
The Reader Chatterton thing's real, but allegedly these guys are not getting paid. So hypothetically, potentially,
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw this, but in the U.S. we have this thing that's happening where they're like investigating how the government spends money, and it came out that like the government is buying like super subscriptions. Like if you sold a super secret, top secret, extra secret subscription to Pro Wrestling Times and charge somebody like $10,000 a month, it is potentially possible that somebody is subscribing to that. I think that's what's happening in the wrestling industry. I think AEW is sending payments vis-a-vis these subscription services that are in well excess of what those like typically go for.
Yep.
So like Meltzer charges $14.99, right? Like what if the subscription is just for like, $10,000 a month? Like, pathetically. And technically they're not being paid by like the company, like their business is being paid by somebody who's subscribing, like no big deal. Like I know that hedge funds used to subscribe to Thurston. So like it's possible that anyone can pay and nobody's going to know like who is being influenced by what or who is behind, because like at the end of the day, money carries weight. So I don't know, that's just one idea. This whole thing with like the investigating how the government's buying these subscriptions to newspapers made me think about that.
Well, you could be onto something with that, and also it's all private, so we'll never fucking
all private, exactly. Like
and Tony Khan's even saying, "I'm going to keep it private." He's like, "I'm going to keep it private so I can hand it down to my children one day. I want it to be their legacy." Da da da. All this, so he's never going to take this thing public. He'll ride it into the ground. It's going to stay in the family for generations, as far as he's concerned. And so, yeah, we'll never know because it's all private. And exactly like you said. All of these rich people, overly billionaire, 100 millionaire, 10 millionaire, they all participate in this type of, and I could totally see it being the case. And like, why? There's just certain things where it's like, what does Dave care for? And why do they accuse everyone else of being bought and paid for, to the point where WWE's like, okay, if you're going to accuse them, like, and that's where Bully Ray's at too. It's like, if you're going to accuse me of being paid for, I might as well go get paid then. Like, it's like if you're gonna just say it, and even Meltzer, like, no, I want Dave to be like, yes, I'm getting paid, because then I'd go, this all makes so much sense. You know what I mean? You're the guy shilling cigarettes to kids. You're that, like, I get it now.
There are people selling like fake, unverified gossip stories on like Discords these days. So like, I don't know, everyone's trying to get their buck. Like everyone's trying to hustle. So if some of these guys who are like overly invested in AEW's publicity are not, like, I'm kind of judging you, bro. Like you kind of suck at business,
for real.
Life. If
you're not getting paid for that, crazy. And people would say, well, if you're not getting paid by the Fed, bro, let me tell you something right now. I wish, but also here's the thing. Let me tell you this right now. I just blew that Megan Bain Statlander match to death. And then they did up right after. But no, I'm always just calling it as I see. So if the majority of what I'm seeing is, I tell you, that's how I'm feeling about it, period. Doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, whatever. But yeah, I could totally see them getting paid that way. I've
been doing this research project where I'm fighting with sickos so I can better understand their culture.
Yeah.
Some of them don't realize that I'm also like sometimes engaging with them in ways that they want to be engaged with so that I can understand their culture. This is the best. So they always come back to like the same three things that they hurl at you, that you're a pedophile or you slurp the Fed or whatever they say. It's something vile about the Fed. Then they hit you with like, you support trafficking. And then the last thing they can hit you with, right? They never defend AEW. They just hit you with these things. The last thing they defend you with is like, oh, you're a blue check mark trying to get like engagement dollars out of Elon. And it's like,
I can't even do that. I can't get monetized, bro.
No,
like I don't get enough impressions yet. So like I have a blue thing, I just pay for it, but I don't get for my tweets. And I'm cool with that, honestly, because I was like torn about getting the blue check at the start, but honest to God, Elon's up right now. We gotta
I've said this before. I have it so I can write long form because that's what I decided to do in the IWC is just to write long form and stuff. But you just hit the nail on the head, and like, thank you for that. These people are so stupid that they don't actually understand how any of it works. They just like have like, it's like insult 1, insult 2, insult 3, block. And
they're always like, you're a pedophile. Then you go on their page and it's just slurping AEW. And it's like, it's just projection. They're mentally ill weirdos. A bunch of them are bots. I believe a bunch of them are bots, like the way the MCU and will pay these accounts. She-Hulk forever.
They
She-Hulk.
are the definition of a micro cult, and I'm not just saying that to insult or like trying to label. Like if you study what micro cults are, they embody it entirely. It's very scary, and the rest I'll reveal at another time.